Just because there's not a war doesn't mean there's peace. He's coming.
Before we start talking about X-Men Apocalypse, this is a warning that there will be spoilers everywhere. That's all this is. So if you haven't seen X-Men Apocalypse, don't watch this video. Welcome to IAYTD. As a warning, it is 2 in the morning and I just saw X-Men Apocalypse. I didn't want to wait until next week to get this video up, so I'm hurrying to get it up on Friday. So what did I think? In a nutshell, I liked it more than I thought I would because the reviews were really negative going in. Rotten Tomatoes is really low, Metacritic's really low, and I was like, is this going to be good? So my expectations were very low, and so it surpassed them. So I actually had a good time. I liked it, but it is far, far from being my favorite X-Men movie. My initial instinct is I don't even know if I want to see this again in theaters. I'm in no rush to see it again at all. You know, really all I want is that Quicksilver scene to show up on YouTube, and I will just watch that. That's really all that I cared about. So what did I like? As always with the last 2 movies, First Class and Days of Future Past, I really liked Xavier and Magneto. Their stories are really interesting. Magneto especially gets some heavy hitting drama scenes in this one, which is really cool. But then the last half of the movie, he turns into kind of a thug. Like, he doesn't do a lot. But Fassbender's performance is probably the highlight of this film, that and Quicksilver's rescue scene. Did I think they pulled off Apocalypse? Yes. Oscar Isaac was great. The visuals looked great. He was kind of threatening, but the downside is he wasn't as threatening as he should have been. In the astral plane battle sequence, you know, like when he's kind of growing and changing size, I wanted to see that in real life and show him actually, you know, towering over a city and like being this physically imposing force. But when you see him in a group, he's the smallest one. I mean, he's like, you know, Magneto's like kind of taller than him and he's just this little guy and didn't have that force that I wanted. I also have complaints about his horsemen because Psylocke had 2 lines, maybe. They never explained who she was, what she was up to. And her CGI effects, her flips and stuff were just not very good. Storm, this was their chance and they kind of had the right origin, but then once she became a horseman, she did nothing. The final fight, I don't even, like, she threw some kind of generic lightning and then she kind of like hid in a corner and just chilled and was like terrified of what was happening. And then now she's an X-Men. Like, that's all she did. Very little, so a little disappointed, very disappointed. And then Angel, also really disappointing. No idea who he was, what he was doing. They didn't even say his name. So it was cool that in an Apocalypse story, we get Archangel. Great, but we missed the foundational building blocks of who is this guy? Why does it matter that his wings are metal? Like, whatever. Like, we didn't get any of that. So his horsemen, aside from Magneto, were very one-dimensional and just thugs for Apocalypse. The other new characters, Cyclops and Jean Grey, I thought were great. I liked Cyclops a lot. Jean Grey I was fine with, but it's hard to see her with an English accent because of Game of Thrones, and so I had this hard time adjusting to that. But I'm sure I can get over it. But Cyclops I thought was really well done, and if you've seen my video for the most misused X-Men in the franchise, Cyclops is at the top of the list because I think the other movies just did a horrible job with him, and this is a little closer, so I'm excited for that. Nightcrawler. I think Nightcrawler was unnecessary. He only really served as comedic relief, which Quicksilver could have done. Cyclops did a little bit. Just Nightcrawler was not needed, and none of his action scenes lived up to what we've already seen from Nightcrawler in X-Men 2. That attack on the president, on the White House, whatever, all that stuff was cooler than anything we saw here. You know, and that movie came out 10 years ago, and they still weren't able to create a decent fight scene for Nightcrawler. So really there was no reason to have him because it just took time away from the other characters that didn't get enough time already. So I wish they would have either given him more to do or taken him out. And Jubilee got one or two lines and never once used her powers. So I think it was misleading of them to advertise Jubilee in this film, knowing that she never did anything. So huge disappointment. Just don't tell us she's in it. I already touched on Quicksilver, but he stole the show, and I like that they gave him almost like the heart of the movie. You know, it was him wanting to find his father and connect with his father, and his choice to not say something. I thought was really interesting, and I like what they did with him here. I also really like that he tried to fight Apocalypse, because in Days of Future Past, you're like, why didn't he just stop Magneto? Why didn't he save the day? Because he could move faster than anyone can even think. So here, your thought is, why doesn't he just take out Apocalypse? And he tried, and we see what happens when he tries to, so at least you're not left wondering, why didn't Quicksilver just save the day? And here we have our answer. I'm not going to talk too much about the post-credit scene for Nathaniel Essex, which becomes Mr. Sinister, which is a huge X-Men villain, but I am going to do a special video about what that means, but also predicting what's going to happen, because I think I have some really strong indicators about what the X-Men movie is going to look like. It's going to be set in the 90s, we know that for sure, but that's it. But I think based on what we've seen, I think I have a really strong idea what we're going to do, so look out for that video soon. So in a nutshell, I liked it. Wasn't the greatest. Not really in a hurry to go back and see it, but there were parts that were really cool. So not disappointed, but also not really excited about it. You know, Civil War, I think I saw 3 times in theaters, because you want to go back and you want to see it. But this one, it was cool once, but there was surprisingly little action. There were only maybe 2-3 fight scenes that were notable, that were cool. And then there wasn't much character development because there's so many people fighting for screen time that you just didn't get to spend a lot of time with any of them. Thinking about it, in removing Nightcrawler, I also think they could have removed Psylocke and maybe made Havoc a Horseman. Because that would have been cool, like a Cyclops versus Havoc thing, but Havoc was like on that side, you know, and them fighting. So we get to see Havoc, who's an established character, so we don't need any backstory, instead of introducing another character that we don't care about. That could have been cool, but that didn't happen. Okay, so it's my bedtime. I'm getting delirious, but let me know in the comments what you thought of Apocalypse. Did you love it? A lot of people did. That's great. Tell me what you loved about it. Did you hate it? A lot of people did as well. Tell me what you didn't like. Let's talk about it. I'll try to engage in the comments to make up for this really short video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed Apocalypse. I really hope you did. So, thanks. We'll see you next time.
I've never felt power like this before.